Hey there everybody, welcome to Mbagza Tags, Tag Made Simple. Today we are going to be checking how to randomize numbers, how to use a random function, how to use the rand function. So just to make it simple, I'll be trying to write this code. Step 1, generate two single digit integers into number 1 and number 2. So this is my main point of writing this code, to generate two single digit integers. You generate them randomly, so you don't enter them, you don't prompt the user to enter, and you do not initialize, you generate them randomly. So without any waste of time, you can see the step 2, step 3 and step 4. We'll read them once we're going. First, we start by generating two single digit numbers, integers, into number 1 and number 2, meaning already we know that I have two integers now. Already I have two integers, which is int number, let me say num1 and then num2. We have these two numbers, these two variables right now, since it's what the instruction told us to do. Let me do this and this, then always on top. Thanks. Okay, so here we have first step, generate two single digit numbers. So how do I generate random numbers? As I was saying, that you use the random function, not random function. This is a function. We use this function. So we do not just do this. There are also libraries. If you know, I once explained when we were starting with C++ that this is a library, #include iostream. It is a library. This library contains input and output stream. So this one is only for simple programs like cout, cin, all those simple programs. But then if you want to do something like generating numbers, all this other complicated stuff, you will have to include also their libraries. So here I will include the library C time, and then also I will include include CSTD library, CSTD lib. There we go. So as long as we have these three libraries, our program is going to run as we want it. So I have integer number 1 and number 2. We can't do anything with integer number 1 and number 2. Okay, now let's see, how do we generate random numbers? So the first thing that I like doing, or let me say the first step to randomizing numbers, srand, seeding a random number. Srand in brackets, you open brackets and then you write time inside those brackets. After time, you open other brackets for time. These are brackets for srand. As you can see, it's opening here and closing here. It's opening here and closing here. It's for srand. Then there's also for time, which is opening here and closing here. So you must be careful here. So do not forget semicolon. So this simply means that we are seeding our time. I forgot 0, srand time of 0. So srand of time of 0. This is how I call it. This is going to make our code, it will generate a new random number whenever the program is ran, or whenever whenever you run the program. This is just to ensure that the seed time is always different when you run the program. Also, now we will have to randomize numbers now. How do we randomize? Let me say number 1, then first number is equal to rand brackets. So this is the function of randomizing. So simple, by doing this only, I've already generated a random number. Let me say cout num1. Let me show you what happens. As you can see, 12209 blah 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 and 068. So this is my random number generated here. So you can also manipulate the random number that is being generated at that current time. You can also manipulate it. You can come here, say multiply by something, multiply by blah blah blah. It will just increase the value of that number. As you can see, it increased a little bit, but here I wanted to generate 2 single digit integers from 0 to 9, not more than 9. So here's what I'm going to do. I will come and say random modulus 10. So this simply means any number that was generated here, divided by 10, and don't give me the answer of that number divided by 10. Do not give me the answer of that number divided by 10. You give me the remainder. This is what the modular sign does in any program. If I say, for example, if I say 5 modulus 2, I've done this, I'm just emphasizing it. 5 modulus 2 is equal to, this is just equal to 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, meaning there's a remainder. This is equal to 1. This is not equal to 2.5. Nope, this is equal to 1 because we are taking the remainder. It will only be equal to 2.5 if and only if we are dividing. I'm sure you get me now. So these modular signs will give us a remainder of this, of random number divided by 10, and then it will give us the remainder. So here's what's going to happen. Build, run 2. As you can see now, I'm just getting 2. I'm no longer getting those whatever. So now let me not deviate from these steps. Generate 2 single digit integers into number 1 and number 2. I have variable number 1 and number 2. Now I've generated for number 1. For number 2, let me generate also number 2 is equal to rand same thing modulus 10, and then I have number 1 and number 2. They are already generated now. They will be generated when I run the code. So so this step number 2, it's saying that if number 1 is less than number 2, swap number 1 with number 2. I have done this code of swapping 2 integers or 2 numbers that were entered. So it's simple like this. It's simple. We will have to create a temporary variable which we can call it temp and make it equal to number 1. Wait, they're saying if the number 1 is less than number 2. Okay, let me start by this first. I will go to the if statement. Integer temporary variable is equal to number 1. Close with this, and then let me say number 1 is equal to number 2. This is the process of swapping. Now we say number 2 is equal to, wait, there's no space here, num2 is equal to temp. So we have swapped here, but we cannot just swap. We have to swap this if and only if number 1, if num1 is less than number 2. So here's how it is. If number 1 is less than number 2, swap number 1 with number 2. Okay, so we'll have to include the curly brackets here to make this code be inside the if statement. There we go. Let me try and run it and also see out num1. Let me do this and then see out num2. So there we go. build, no error, 3 and 2. Okay, so as you can see, we can generate different random numbers. 3 and 2 again, 7 and 3. So in order to have let me see different numbers, let me try and divide by 100, also by 100. Build, run, 92 and 5. So I'm sure the maximum number now is about 100, somewhere there, because it's giving me 92 and 5, 29 and 26. So you can see it's generating random numbers, and we have already covered the step 2. Second step, if number 1 is less than number 2, then swap with number 2. So yeah, and you can see obviously when we run, there's 91 and 4. So it's saying if number 1, let me try and analyze this. If number 1 is less than number 2, then you have to do this. So I'm not sure which my number 1 was and my number 2 was, but then I have 91 and 4, meaning the first number now is big and the second one is small. Yes, meaning my number 1 was 4, I think, which is less. That's what I'm just guessing. But let's not focus on this one. Also, I have prompted the student to answer what is number 1 minus number 2. So you will have to, as a programmer, you heard what the instruction said. You will have to analyze, how do I do this? How do I prompt the student to answer what is number 1 minus number 2? So see out, I can say, so at least num1 minus num2, and then see in, let me say sub, meaning we must come and introduce this here, int sub, and then come back down here. What is number 1 minus num2 sub, and then I must have an if statement. If sub is equal to, we'll open brackets again, if the sub, this answer that is entered here is equal to, and I left the other equal sign, is equal to num1 minus num2, then it is correct, meaning it will just see out correct answer. But if it is wrong, else print see out wrong answer. So there we go, we're done with the code. Now I can run it and see if there's any error or whatever. Build, we have an error, we left a semicolon, very important. Build, no error, no warning, thanks. Run 63. Okay, let me try and fix this thing now. Let me try and fix this, make it underline here. I think it's fine. Build, run 68 and 20. What? Okay, so now you know what the numbers are. What is number 1 minus number 2? Number 1 is 68 and number 2 is 20. So will be 68 minus 20, 48. So we have guessed the correct answer. You can see it's a correct answer. So let's do another one. Last run. 40 and 38. What is 40 minus 38? It's 2. Correct answer. So let me try and get an incorrect answer and see if it does the things. 74 minus 15, I don't know. Let me just say 53. Wrong answer. There you go, you can see it's doing everything. It prints out the numbers, it asks you what is number, blah blah blah, and then it says wrong answer. So but the main point was to generate random numbers and see what you do with random numbers. As you saw here, random numbers are also manipulated by multiplying. There's a lot you can do. You can even add here. It depends on what type of code you want, what you are doing with your code. There you can see it added some things, blah 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 blah. Now I'm having different generated numbers. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. This is Bugs going out. Please stay tuned, please like, comment and share. Thank you.